20 signs that you should end your relationship. Relationships, like the threads of fate, weave through our lives, bringing moments of joy, companionship, and shared growth. Yet, the teachings of Stoicism remind us that not all relationships are meant to endure. Sometimes we must gather our courage, exercise our self-control, and make the difficult decision to end a bond that no longer serves our journey towards virtue and tranquility. Here are 15 signs, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, that it might be time to end your relationship. Life is a series of interconnected moments, each one a thread in the tapestry of our existence. We find ourselves intertwined with others, forming bonds that shape our journey. Yet not all threads are meant to endure, and sometimes we must summon the courage to untangle ourselves from connections that no longer serve our highest good. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism teaches us that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. It is a philosophy that calls us to cultivate inner strength, to master our emotions, and to live in accordance with virtue. In the words of Epictetus, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This mastery, this internal fortitude, is the cornerstone of a life well lived. In our relationships, we often find reflections of our own inner struggles and triumphs. They can be sources of immense joy and growth, but they can also be the breeding grounds for turmoil and discontent. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, reminds us, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Our thoughts, shaped by the relationships we nurture, have the power to elevate or diminish our sense of peace and purpose. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, the waves crashing against the shore with relentless force. Each wave represents a moment in our relationships, some gentle and soothing, others turbulent and overwhelming. It is in these moments of turbulence that we must seek the clarity and wisdom to discern whether to stay anchored or to set sail towards calmer waters. Consider the story of a lone traveler journeying through a dense forest. The path is winding and treacherous, but the traveler is guided by the light of a distant star. Along the way, the traveler encounters companions who offer support and camaraderie. Yet, as the journey progresses, some companions become burdens, their presence obscuring the guiding light and making the path more arduous. The traveler, though reluctant, must make the painful decision to part ways, understanding that to reach the destination, one must walk in the light of their own truth. Seneca, in his letters, writes, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." This wisdom urges us to reflect on the nature of our relationships. Do they uplift us, inspire us, and help us grow in virtue? Or do they drag us into the abyss of negative emotions and self-doubt? The Stoic path is one of self-examination and honesty. It calls us to be brave, to face the reality of our connections, and to make choices that align with our pursuit of a tranquil and virtuous life. In the grand theater of life, we are both actors and directors. We have the power to script our stories, to choose our cast, and to direct our actions. Yet, it requires the courage to make difficult decisions, to end relationships that no longer serve our narrative. It is in these moments of decision that we find our true strength. As we stand at the crossroads of our relationships, we must remember the words of Epictetus, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Our relationships should not be counted in numbers, but in the quality and depth of connection. We should seek bonds that enrich our lives, that bring clarity and purpose, and that reflect the virtues we strive to embody. Let us embark on a journey of introspection and wisdom. Let us examine the signs that a relationship may no longer serve our highest good. Let us gather the courage to make choices that align with our inner truth and guide us towards a life of peace, virtue, and fulfillment. As we delve into each sign, reflect on your own experiences and consider how these principles resonate with your journey. Let us embrace this opportunity for self-discovery and growth, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers who illuminate our path towards inner peace and true fulfillment. 1. When the relationship breeds destructive emotions, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate a serene mind, unshackled by the turmoil of destructive emotions. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. I recall a relationship where every encounter seemed to ignite a blaze of anger and resentment within me. Our interactions were fraught with conflict, and the emotional turmoil consumed my thoughts, leaving little room for peace or clarity. The persistent negativity was a clear sign that the relationship was toxic, and I found myself becoming a person I did not recognize, quick to anger, defensive, and constantly on edge. Recognizing that this relationship was a source of constant distress, I made the painful but necessary decision to end it. By doing so, I reclaimed my emotional balance and began the journey back to tranquility, embracing the stoic wisdom that true peace comes from within. 2. When respect and virtue are absent. Respect is the bedrock of any meaningful connection. Seneca, in his letters, exhorts us to associate with those who uplift us, who reflect the virtues we strive to embody. In one relationship, I found myself constantly giving respect and receiving none in return. My partner's disregard for my feelings and thoughts eroded the mutual admiration that should exist in any partnership. Their actions often reflected a lack of virtue, and I realized that remaining in such a relationship would only pull me away from my own path to virtue. The absence of respect and virtue was a glaring red flag that it was time to walk away. Ending the relationship allowed me to refocus on surrounding myself with people who embodied the qualities I aspired to, reinforcing my commitment to living a life of virtue. 3. When the relationship hinders personal growth. A Stoic values progress in wisdom and virtue above all else. Epictetus teaches, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. I once found myself in a relationship that felt like a constant battle against stagnation. My aspirations and dreams were met with skepticism and discouragement, creating an environment where personal growth was nearly impossible. Each day felt like a compromise, where I had to choose between nurturing my ambitions or maintaining harmony in the relationship. Recognizing that I was being held back from my true potential, I made the difficult choice to part ways. This decision, though painful, was a necessary step towards reclaiming my journey of self-improvement and wisdom. By ending the relationship, I freed myself to pursue my goals and aspirations without hindrance, embracing the stoic pursuit of becoming the best version of myself. 4. When fear of loneliness keeps you bound. The fear of loneliness can be a powerful chain, binding us to unworthy relationships. Yet, as Seneca advises, associate with people who are likely to improve you. For a long time, I stayed in a relationship out of sheer fear of being alone. The thought of facing the world without a partner seemed daunting, and this fear kept me bound to a relationship that brought little joy or fulfillment. However, the teachings of Stoicism helped me understand that true companionship should be based on mutual growth and not on a fear of solitude. Embracing my inner strength, I realized that it was better to walk alone in the light of self-control and inner peace than to remain in a toxic relationship out of fear. Solitude became a space for self-reflection and growth, rather than a source of dread. By ending the relationship, I found the courage to stand alone, and in doing so, I discovered the true strength within myself. 5. When the relationship compromises your integrity. Integrity is the essence of a Stoic life. Marcus Aurelius urges us to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In a past relationship, I found myself constantly compromising my values and principles to maintain harmony. This erosion of my integrity left me feeling hollow and conflicted. Each time I ignored my own beliefs and principles to avoid conflict, I felt a part of my true self slipping away. The internal conflict became unbearable, and I realized that compromising my integrity was too high a price to pay for any relationship. Choosing to end that relationship was a reaffirmation of my commitment to my values. It was a painful but necessary step to preserve my sense of self and honor. By prioritizing my integrity, I regained my inner strength and reaffirmed my dedication to living a life aligned with my principles. 6. When communication is non-existent. Clear and honest communication is vital for any healthy relationship. If your attempts to communicate are met with silence or evasion, it erodes the foundation of trust and mutual understanding. Seneca said, "If you wish to be loved, love." Part of this love is open communication. Without it, a relationship cannot thrive. I once found myself in a relationship where every attempt at meaningful conversation was met with a wall of silence. My efforts to communicate my thoughts and feelings were ignored, creating a chasm of misunderstanding and resentment. This lack of communication bred frustration and isolation, making it impossible to resolve conflicts or deepen our connection. Realizing the futility of my efforts, I chose to walk away, seeking connections where open dialogue was valued. By ending the relationship, I prioritized my need for honest and open communication, paving the way for healthier and more fulfilling interactions. 7. When you feel emotionally drained. A relationship should be a source of support and strength, not constant exhaustion. Epictetus reminds us to choose to be calm and to make it your business to learn how to find joy. In one relationship, I felt like I was always giving, always supporting, but never receiving the same in return. The imbalance left me feeling emotionally drained and weary, as if a heavy weight was constantly pressing down on my spirit. Every effort to uplift and support my partner felt like it went unnoticed, and my own emotional needs were neglected. This constant exhaustion took a toll on my mental and emotional well-being, making it clear that the relationship was unsustainable. Ending that relationship was an act of self-preservation, allowing me to find joy and calm within myself once more. By prioritizing my own well-being, I reclaimed my emotional energy and opened myself to connections that were truly supportive and reciprocal. 8. When there is a lack of trust. Trust is fundamental. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "To live happily is an inward power of the soul." This inward power relies on trust in ourselves and those around us. In one relationship, trust was a constant issue. Lies and betrayals eroded the bond we shared, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and doubt. Each act of dishonesty further damaged the foundation of our relationship, making it difficult to find peace or happiness within it. The constant questioning and insecurity left me feeling anxious and unsettled. Realizing that trust could not be rebuilt, I chose to end the relationship. By doing so, I sought to restore my inner peace and live a life aligned with integrity and truth. Ending the relationship allowed me to reclaim my sense of trust, both in myself and in future connections. 9. When you feel unappreciated. Feeling valued and appreciated is crucial for our well-being. Seneca advised, "Be wary of feeling good about things which do not belong to you." In a relationship, appreciation should be mutual and sincere. In one relationship, I constantly felt like my efforts and sacrifices were taken for granted. The lack of appreciation made me question my worth and left me feeling undervalued. Every gesture of love and support seemed to go unnoticed, and my partner's indifference chipped away at my self-esteem. Realizing that the relationship was not fulfilling my need for mutual appreciation, I chose to end it. By doing so, I reclaimed my self-esteem and opened myself to connections where mutual appreciation was a cornerstone. Ending the relationship allowed me to seek environments where I felt valued and respected for who I am. 10. When there is continuous conflict. While disagreements are natural, constant conflict can be detrimental. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to receive without pride, let go without attachment. Continuous conflict prevents us from letting go of negativity and embracing peace. In one relationship, every day felt like a battle, with arguments and disagreements overshadowing any moments of harmony. The constant conflict created an environment of stress and tension, making it impossible to find peace or joy. Each argument left emotional scars, deepening the divide between us. Recognizing that the relationship was a source of constant strife, I chose to end it. By doing so, I sought to reclaim my peace and let go of the negativity that had become a daily burden. Ending the relationship allowed me to embrace a life of tranquility and focus on building positive, harmonious connections. 11. When you have different life goals. A relationship should align with our long-term goals and values. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In one relationship, I found that our visions for the future were starkly different. My goals and aspirations clashed with those of my partner, creating a constant tension between our dreams. This disparity made it difficult to build a cohesive future together. Every discussion about our future plans highlighted our differences and created uncertainty. Realizing that our paths were diverging, I chose to end the relationship. By doing so, I prioritized my own goals and values, ensuring that I could pursue a future that aligned with my true self. Ending the relationship allowed me to focus on my aspirations and seek a partner whose goals complemented my own. 12. When there's emotional or physical abuse in any form is unacceptable. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In a relationship marked by emotional or physical abuse, the Stoic path is to remove oneself from harm's way. I once endured a relationship where emotional abuse was a daily occurrence. My partner's hurtful words and manipulative behavior left deep emotional wounds, eroding my sense of self-worth. The constant abuse created an environment of fear and insecurity, making it impossible to find peace or happiness. Recognizing that the relationship was toxic, I found the courage to leave, seeking safety and healing. Ending that relationship was an act of self-preservation and a commitment to my own well-being. By doing so, I reclaimed my dignity and began the journey towards healing and self-love. 13. When you lose your sense of purpose. A meaningful life is driven by purpose. Epictetus taught, "He who is not a good servant will not be a good master." In one relationship, I found that my sense of purpose was diminishing. The daily grind and endless compromises eroded my drive to pursue what truly mattered to me. My dreams and aspirations took a backseat to the demands of the relationship, leaving me feeling unfulfilled and directionless. Recognizing that this relationship was sapping my motivation, I made the decision to end it, allowing me to refocus on my true calling and regain my sense of direction. By doing so, I reclaimed my sense of purpose and dedicated myself to pursuits that brought meaning and fulfillment to my life. 14. When you constantly compromise your values. Values form the core of our being. Marcus Aurelius advises us to waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. I was once in a relationship where I constantly compromised my values to avoid conflict. This erosion of my principles left me feeling hollow and disconnected from my true self. Each time I ignored my own beliefs to maintain peace, I felt a part of my identity slipping away. The internal conflict became unbearable, and I realized that compromising my values was too high a price to pay for any relationship. By ending that relationship, I reaffirmed my commitment to living according to my values and maintaining my integrity. It was a painful but necessary step to preserve my sense of self and honor. 15. When there's a lack of emotional support. Emotional support is essential for our well-being. Seneca wrote, "Friendship always benefits. Love sometimes injures." In a past relationship, I felt a deep void where emotional support should have been. My struggles and triumphs were met with indifference, or worse, criticism. This lack of support left me feeling isolated and unimportant. Recognizing that this absence of emotional support was detrimental to my well-being, I chose to walk away and seek relationships where mutual emotional support was a given. By ending the relationship, I prioritized my need for emotional nourishment and sought connections that offered true companionship and understanding. 16. When you feel your identity is being erased. In relationships, it's natural for partners to influence each other, but when this influence begins to erase your sense of self, it's a grave concern. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." I once found myself in a relationship where my preferences, hobbies, and even my values started to blur and fade in the shadow of my partner's dominating personality. My love for painting, a hobby that brought me immense joy and peace, was often ridiculed and deemed a waste of time. Gradually, I found myself painting less and less until I had completely abandoned my brushes and canvases. The person I saw in the mirror was no longer the passionate, creative individual I once was. Recognizing this loss of identity was heartbreaking, but necessary. By ending that relationship, I embarked on a journey of rediscovery, reclaiming my passions and reasserting my individuality. I began painting again, finding solace and self-expression in the vibrant colors and strokes, reconnecting with the essence of who I truly am. 17. When your values are continuously undermined. Our values are the compass that guides us through life. As Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. In a relationship where my core values were constantly challenged and undermined, I found myself in a state of perpetual inner conflict. I valued honesty, yet my partner frequently lied, small deceptions at first that grew into significant breaches of trust. Each lie chipped away at my sense of reality and security, leaving me questioning everything. The internal dissonance became too much to bear, and I realized that staying meant betraying myself. Ending the relationship was an act of self-preservation, a reaffirmation of my commitment to living an honest and authentic life. It was a painful process, but it restored my integrity and allowed me to align my actions with my deepest values. 18. When the relationship inhibits your happiness. Happiness, according to Stoic philosophy, is not found in external circumstances but in our internal state of being. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." In a relationship that brought more sorrow than joy, I often felt a profound sense of sadness and disillusionment. Our interactions, once filled with laughter and warmth, had become cold and distant. Every attempt to rekindle the spark was met with indifference, and my efforts to find happiness within the relationship were fruitless. Recognizing that my happiness was being stifled, I made the difficult decision to leave. By ending the relationship, I sought to reclaim my inner joy and peace. I began to focus on the small, everyday moments that brought me happiness. Reading a good book, taking long walks in nature, and spending time with friends who uplifted me. This shift in focus helped me rebuild my sense of joy and contentment. 19. When your partner is unsupportive of your goals. Support from a partner is crucial for achieving our aspirations. As Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." In one relationship, I found my partner constantly belittling my ambitions. I dreamed of starting my own business, a venture that filled me with excitement and purpose. However, my partner's relentless skepticism and discouragement cast a shadow over my dreams. Each time I shared my plans, I was met with negativity and doubt, which eroded my confidence and determination. Realizing that my partner's lack of support was hindering my growth, I chose to end the relationship. By doing so, I surrounded myself with individuals who believed in my potential and encouraged my endeavors. I eventually launched my business, fueled by the support and belief of those who genuinely cared for my success. This experience taught me the importance of having a supportive partner who shares and uplifts your dreams. 20. When the relationship is built on dependency. Stoicism teaches us to be self-reliant and resilient. Epictetus advised, "Make it your business to draw out the resources of your own mind." In a relationship marked by dependency, I felt as though my sense of independence and self-worth was slipping away. My partner relied on me for everything, from financial support to emotional stability, creating a dynamic where I was constantly giving and rarely receiving. This dependency was suffocating, leaving me drained and overwhelmed. The weight of being the sole pillar of the relationship was too much to bear, and I realized that this dynamic was unsustainable and unhealthy. Ending the relationship was a difficult but necessary step towards reclaiming my autonomy. By doing so, I learned to establish healthy boundaries and foster relationships based on mutual support and respect. I focused on building my own resilience, drawing strength from within, and becoming self-reliant once more. This journey towards independence and self-reliance restored my sense of self-worth and empowered me to live a balanced and fulfilling life. The teachings of Stoicism guide us to prioritize our inner life, striving for tranquility, virtue, and self-mastery. Recognizing the signs that a relationship should end is an act of courage and wisdom. We must embrace the Stoic ethos, overcoming destructive emotions and walking the path of integrity and personal growth. As we navigate these choices, we find the strength within ourselves to build a life of profound peace and unwavering fortitude. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find it useful. By understanding these principles and reflecting on the wisdom of Stoic philosophers, we can approach our relationships with a clear, composed mind, ever striving for the highest good. Let us move forward with a heart fortified by Stoic resolve, seeking the life that aligns with our truest selves.